Hey, man, we're live.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and we're on time, as usual.
Always.
Banking those minutes. We should be starting, Anyway, good to see you, pal.
Good to see you, too, man.
Yeah.
It's warm in here, man.
I got the AC on full blast.
I'm always hot. It's fine.
That's okay. Yesterday, you posted 3 tenants.
Yeah, it was today I posted them, actually. Might have been earlier today.
Maybe it must have been early.
Yeah.
It's been
it
like
was early.
It
was early. Yeah,
it seems like it's been 2 days.
Yes. Okay.
Consistency over skill.
Okay.
That's the one I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because I thoroughly believe this, and I don't know if I ever really. I'm sure I heard it or something similar maybe decades ago, but I must have not paid attention. But I realized right away, whether it was even before entrepreneurship, Rocco, it was like it was being a good soldier in the corporations I was in, was that my consistency not only naturally make my performance better, but that's what built my, my presence or my character, within the company. You know what I mean? So I think that outweighed maybe some of the paper I was lacking when promotion time came, when elements of success in the corporate ladder, and then just transferring that over to entrepreneurship that, hey, if I just, no matter what the outside noise is, continue to be consistent and deliver and improve a little bit every day, you almost are going to be successful in spite of yourself.
100%. Yeah, absolutely right.
That's like the secret.
To me, consistency is the secret to success. It's the hardest thing for people to do. To truly be, when you think about it, it's so hard to be consistent, right? Do the thing day in and day out when nothing's moving, when no results are coming, and just continuing to do the thing. So hard for people to do, right? Think about how many people start the year off on a fitness journey, right? And they fall off after 2 weeks. They're consistent up to a point, and they're not seeing results. You have to be consistent through the months where you will see no results. Like truly if I look back at anything, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. One thing I know for certain is I'm deadly consistent. Right. Like in things I do, I'm consistent. And I would ask you this question, when you think of a person being consistent, what does that say to you about the person? Not me, just anybody, just a person in general. You know that they are consistent in areas of their life. What does that tell you about the person?
They're dependable.
Okay.
If I'm in a hiring situation, they're going to be dependable.
Okay.
They're also determined.
Okay.
And I kind of label consistency with a winner because most of the world is not consistent.
Correct.
So it's so rare.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like they're in rare air almost because you just know they're going to be there. They're going to do it.
Yeah. What they say you can take to the bank. And if 100%. If they screw up, they'll own it.
100%.
They don't. That's me. Like I'll be deadly consistent, and if I screw something up, I will own it. That's on me. But that is what. If you look at what it takes to be successful, there's multiple pieces to it, but the variable that's the hardest for most people, but the one that matters the most, is consistency. That's really in any area of life. It's just being consistent because it sucks. Like it sucks. Do you think I like getting up every day at 4 a.m.? Like literally every single day, other than Saturday and Sunday where I get up at 5. But that means every single day, 7 days a week, I am up before 6 a.m. Without fail. That is because there are certain things I do every single morning that are consistent habits I've had for years that truly set my day up for success.
Right.
And that's always going to be the case.
Yeah. And it's it's interesting because I heard a person say this week, which immediately I thought about what a great topic it would be for any podcast. I might as well bring it up now because it kind of ties into this. It dovetails into it. And it's so, to me, I found this profound because I never looked at it at this angle. But have you noticed that what bucks up against consistency? Well, obviously, procrastination.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The things we procrastinate on are the things that would make our life better. Yeah. The things that we don't procrastinate on often are things that do not improve our life.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a great quote or
I knock me off
statement.
My feet.
But it's true. If you look at things it's the things that matter the most, that move the needle the most. The stuff we do is just stuff that doesn't matter necessarily. And we're all guilty. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't procrastinate. We're all guilty of it, right? It's human nature. But yeah, if I look at things I procrastinate on, when I do, it is the needle moving things.
And oftentimes the effort level for both tasks are relatively the same, but we choose often the ones that do not move the needle.
Yeah. What I've always done with procrastination, when I feel procrastination coming on, I use the 5-minute rule. I say, I just got to do it for 5 minutes. So I tell myself, okay, well, if I feel that procrastination coming, it's definitely something that I know is important, but I'm procrastinating. So my rule is when I feel that coming on, I tell myself, just do it for 5 minutes. You can stop. So it just gets me in the habit of taking action. 9 out of 10 times I'll finish the task. There may be once I'm like, I don't want to do this right now, and I'll stop. But it has to be 5 minutes. I'll look at my watch or my phone, and just start doing it. 5 minutes,
Never
comes.
heard that. That's good.
Yeah,
it's a game, right? Like we talked about before.
You gamify stuff, yeah. But what it does, it forces me, because it's something. It's almost like a trigger I've created in my head. I know that feeling. That feeling's coming on. I say, okay, my 5-minute rule applies. Start moving. At the end of 5 minutes, I give myself permission to stop. And again, 9 out of 10 times I don't. I don't. But there are other times where I do. But it's just getting into the habit. When you feel the procrastination, that's a trigger to take action.
Yeah.
And it starts eliminating it long term.
You get yourself in motion. Exercise is a great one like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to go do this particular exercise. But once you start it, you realize, it's not so bad. What the hell am I complaining about?
Yes, exactly. Right? That was me this morning when I got up. I did not want to go. For some reason, I was just tired. I did not want to go walk for 45 minutes. I'm just like, fuck it. And I just, went and walked. And I was done. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I did that. There was just that moment where I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. It was raining. I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then I just went to the gym, and that was it. Yeah,
it's like that phrase we've talked about too, like how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's a little different, but it does tie into that because, if you're going to show a lackadaisical nature in one area of your life, it will bleed.
Always. Yeah, always. And I hate to say that because it sounds, it can be harsh, right? But I do believe that. Like you can't say you're a disciplined person if certain areas of your life that require discipline you don't have.
Right.
And that's right. That's where I get caught up when I'd rather people just be really authentic and say, yeah, I'm disciplined here, but not here. Because saying you're disciplined in an area is different than saying I'm a disciplined person.
1,000,000%.
But a lot of people say I'm a disciplined person. I'm like, okay, well, do you do this? Do you do this? Like, no. I'm like, well, you have discipline in certain areas, but you're not a disciplined person. Those are two different things.
Yeah, that's even almost a deeper conversation because now you can go deep dive there about identity and how we look at oneself and how we end up fooling ourselves.
Yes.
And that is not productive.
No, and what you'll learn the older you get, what I've learned is to change things in your life, like behaviors or habits, you have to change your identity. Like when you think about it, I can't sit here and say, I'm going to stop eating junk food. I've got to say I'm a person that doesn't eat junk food. Like those are two different statements, right? But it's saying I'm not going to do something because I'm not going to take an action. Saying I am this type of person, that embodies who I am.
Yes.
So my brain won't let me take the action because it's saying, well, you're telling me that's not who I am, so we wouldn't do that.
I think a lot of people avoid that feeling.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
On a regular basis.
Yeah, because it's hard. It's hard to change your identity to yourself. Because it's easier for us to say, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But to change your identity and how you see yourself, and how you talk to yourself.
Not do that.
Yes, exactly. It's all about changing that identity. I have to become the person that does or doesn't do these things. I don't say I'm going to start working out. Say I'm going to become a person who works out. That's the identity shift that people need to make.
Why is that identity so important? Like, why is that the differential, do you believe?
Because think about it. Like, just think about any person, right? Once you understand your identity, your actions fall in alignment with your identity. You know, if you have an identity that's different than your actions, the actions fall by the wayside.
Because they have no meaning.
They have no meaning. So you're saying this is just an action, but it's not part of my identity.
Right.
But if I have this identity of like, hey, I am a person who is fit and goes to the gym and eats healthy. That's the person I am. So when I'm doing things that aren't in alignment with that, it feels off. If I just say, hey, I'm going to start going to the gym and eat healthy, I'll do it or not. It doesn't matter one way or the other.
I got a funny story about that. Why the identity is such an important thing, and it's a humbling story.
Okay.
Early '90s, my life wasn't going the way I wanted it to.
Okay.
Nothing seemed to be breaking for me.
Okay.
I ended up dating someone from a neighboring state, Ohio, and we were dating for a while, and we decided to break it off because of the distance, whatever. But she had left a piece of jewelry at my house.
Okay.
And she said, hey, I'm going to be in Pittsburgh visiting relatives. Any chance we can meet and get this piece of jewelry?
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you're thinking about your ex-flame. You know?
Right, yeah.
But I said to myself, I can't blow her off. She's going to be here. She wants this jewelry. So I drove it out to Monroeville, half an hour away. On the way home, I had this big grin on my face, and it was kind of corny because, of course, I should have done what I did. That was what any normal person that said they're going to do it would do. But I, at that moment, felt good in the identity that, of course, I did what I'm going to say. And, of course, I did this. I'm reliable.
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word.
Exactly.
And it was almost a little, why do I remember this? Because it was a moment where I was feeling pretty sorry for myself.
Yeah.
And probably not living up to my obligations and slacking off lines. But it was that one moment where I changed it around and I really felt like I was the person I knew I could be.
Yes. And that is a game changer.
It absolutely was.
You feel that,
things got massively better after that. Because
you figured out the identity. Right, because a lot of people have this, this disconnect between their actions and their identity, but once you figure out your identity and truly embody it and feel it like internally, then it does get easy because it's easy to say yes or no to things. I would or wouldn't do this because based on who I am, if I don't have that identity, like I just keep going back to fitness, but if I don't have the identity of being a fit person, then if someone says, "Hey, do you want to go out and get beer and wings on a Wednesday night?" Sure. But if I have this identity of a fit person, I'm like, no, I have to go to the gym tonight. Like that's what I do during the week. So it makes it easy to say no because it's not who I am or what I do.
Exactly right. And that's such a, I mean, if you internalize what you just said, it's what most people are looking for, a validation of the decisions they know they should make.
Right. Yes.
And that lies within your identity.
Yes, exactly right. Yes, 100%. It seems so simple, right? And the concept itself is very simple, but people have a hard time doing it. Because one, no one ever, think about growing up. Who talked to you about your identity? I didn't learn about identity till college when I was taking psychology classes, right? And the importance of knowing your identity.
Agreed, likewise.
So you don't know, like you just kind of start doing things. You're like, oh, like, and then people start telling you who you are, right? Like if you act up as a kid and someone says, "Oh, you're a bad kid," well, you're going to grow up thinking I'm a bad kid. So people tell me I am, or "Oh, you're a good kid." I'm a good kid. Like people are giving you your identity, where we as humans have to decide what our identity is, not by what other people tell us, but what we believe it is and what we want it to be.
I know it's different for everybody, but what do you think the ballpark age bracket is when you start to figure it out? And you think it might be different from men and women?
Yeah. 30s for men, I would say. I think if I look at my own journey, my 20s, I was just trying to survive. Like, I mean, when you think about it, truly just trying to survive. I had Gabe at 24, trying to figure out who I was. 30s, probably mid 30s, you start understanding who you are as a man, who you are, what you stand for. Like, that's kind of where I look at it. Then 40 was kind of the age where it's like, yeah, fuck this. I know exactly who I am. And I feel like every 5 years you transform even more. For women, I think they're way smarter than us.
Agreed.
I think they're way more mature than we are, so they learn at an earlier age. I think. Because they know, I think women have such a inherent power to understand themselves so much better than men do at a younger age. Like I do. Like if I look at just people I've known over the years, even my daughters, they've already feel like they're coming into their own, and they're young. They already kind of know who they are as people. Mm-hmm. Like they both have these amazing personalities, and just the way they see the world and the way they operate and their charisma. Like they're already coming into their own at young ages. Where, like I said, I was just trying to go where the wind blew. It's a lot different for men and women.
Approximately where in your life, if you can articulate, mm-hmm. when you realized that you started ruling your own life and life was not ruling you?
Well, that's a good question. Honestly, when I started in my late 20s, when I read the Success Principles, that E+R, because that's kind of when I figured out, it's like, I'm in control of everything. Like because I always control a variable, either the event or the reaction. So right. I always control. So that's kind of when I started to really understand, yeah, it's on me. No one's coming to save me. It's on me. But then as I got older, you start really, you step into your identity even more. And look, like I said, I believe our identities shift. Like I feel like I'm going through a shift right now. Not an identity necessarily, but this, maybe it is a little bit, because I'm looked at it in one way, and I'm moving into this new realm of, strategic advising, and it's not changing who I am, but it is a little bit different than what I do. Certainly. So there is this identity, not an identity crisis, I don't want to say. It's really like how do I step into that in a way that makes sense to myself and to the outer world? Mm-hmm. Not that the outer world matters so much, and it makes sense to me, but there's still a piece that I'm trying to piece together, and I haven't figured that piece out yet. And maybe it's not the identity thing; it's just the tactical side of it. But I believe we do go through transitions in life where we start looking at ourselves differently. Especially if you self-reflect a lot, you start seeing changes in yourself and the way you think and what matters. 3 years ago, I watched the news all the time. I don't give a shit about the news now. Mm-hmm. Like when you think about like stuff like that, like there's things that shift with your identity over time.
Well, there's that scientific phrase where the human body completely renews itself like every 9 or 11 years.
I think it was every 7 years?
7 years.
Like you have a totally new, because all the cells regenerate. Yeah.
It just doesn't all happen at one time. It's like,
right.
But over a 9-year, 7-year period, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. You're basically a new human being.
Yeah. I've always thought that, I don't know if a lot of people have ever heard that before.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's really an interesting, because then you can start to contemplate, if that is true, I have no reason to believe it's not. Wiser people than me, then are we a new person every 7 years?
It's so funny so Ellie was telling me last week she has a debate class, and her team they won this debate, and their debate was we're talking about a type of ship. They said if you change all the internals of the ship, is it still the same ship? And her team's position was it is. And it was just interesting to hear their thought process. So how would you answer that question? Because her and I debated it in the car for like 20 minutes. I'm like, that's a good argument. Because when you think about it, like, if you change parts of a ship, is it still the same ship? Right? If I change the tires on my car, is it still the same car?
Okay, I'll speak specifically for a second. Okay. So you can take Guitarist, for instance. Okay. If you have a 1975 Gibson Les Paul, and it's all original, there's that.
Okay.
And then there's the 1975 Gibson Les Paul. The husk is 1975 Les Paul, but all the parts are different.
Okay.
Is that still a 1975 Gibson Les Paul? And that is debated in guitar circles all over. Now, from a value standpoint, no, it's not all original. So in that medium, the originality dictates.
And that's the
value.
Point. You have to define what the same is.
Exactly right.
And that's the whole concept. You have to set the parameter, because you can argue it both ways, right? Like
100%.
With the ship, with the guitar, but you got to set what is the parameter. What does the same mean? Looks the same, weighs the same, accomplishes the same. Because if it is truly, it is to play music and looks the same, it's the same guitar, right? But if you're saying the value is the same, no, then it's a different guitar then, right?
Right.
a car. Like, hey, if I, you know, if the point of my car is to get me from point A to point B, and I put, you know, a brand new, you know, souped up engine and tires on it, is it a new car? No, it gets me to point A and point B. But if my car is meant for not to exceed 60 miles an hour, and now I put something in it to make it go to 120 miles an hour, is it a new car? Well, maybe.
So the definition.
Yeah, it's always, and that's what I was trying to explain to Ellen. I probably didn't do a good enough job with it, but it's really, you have to define the parameters first. Like, what is the same? Like, for being a human, like, is it, you know, we look the same. Just because our internal cells have changed every 7 years, are we a different person? You know?
It's a deep question.
It is it's a very deep question.
And I'll tell you why it's not easy to answer, because I would think that we're the same person and we're just changing over our skeleton. But at the same time, when I would contemplate this, I would, you know, read my journals and reflect on my life. And, you know, every 7 to 9, 10 years, at least how my life is unfolded that I can recollect, lots of changes. And usually they're in chunks of time. Relationships especially, I can see that. And that's why we've had this discussion too, which would be great for another podcast someday, long form. You know, is everything finite? Are all relationships finite in the end? I mean, it's a very harsh way of putting things, but I tend to believe that there's like a shelf life to most things. As uncomfortable as that makes people feel, I don't see any different, because that's unfortunately at times how my life is, you know, has unwound. Yeah. But well,
I mean, if I look back at my life, there's been like pivotal periods, right, where I believe, like, even looking back at my journals and books, my goal books, like how many fundamental shifts I've made after about every 5 to 7 years.
Right.
Like, it's a fun so maybe we do become new people.
Is it that's my point. Do you think that's a natural thing? Do you think that finding that we just had, do you think that translates to probably most people?
If they're looking, most people aren't doing the self-reflection. Like, how many people do you know out of a handful of a few of us that journal every day? Not many at all. How many people do you know, like, really think about this type of stuff on a day-to-day basis?
They take time to think.
Right. Because to me, like, truly, I look at, okay, you know, 30 was a turning point. That mid-30s was a turning point. 40 was definitely a big turning point. 45 was like a shifting year. And I feel like now I'm kind of entering this new phase. Because I will say this candidly, like, I have definitely felt different the past year. Like, just felt like a shift is happening. I don't know what it is or where it's coming from, but there is this
I've seen it in you.
Yeah, and I can't articulate what it is, right? But I know that I felt this shift internally. I have no idea what it means or what it is or where it even comes from. And the fact that I don't even know what you would recognize, but like, I know I feel something different. So I feel like I'm moving into this new phase, which will be the next, 2 to 4 years. I don't know what that means, but I just know I feel different.
So I find this fascinating because I love the interplay between physics and the human mind and emotional. So let me throw something at you. So you just made a comment that I asked you if it is possible that 5 to 7 year shift that we both experienced in our journeys is very probably common with others. And it goes back to the definition that how will we possibly answer that? Because it may be true, but if no one's looking, and if no one's doing the due diligence to get in there, and there's this phenomenon of physics where a light photon is a wave and a particle, and science has determined it is either depending on if you're looking at it or not.
I know that.
It'll change. Maybe I'm screwing it up.
Yeah, no, they put it through that.
But it changes, based upon whether it's being observed. But isn't that a metaphor for so much of life? I mean, what you just said was, I didn't expect to hear that. Like, you're right. How would we, or how would anyone really know if they're having these moments within the tapestry of their life if they don't look?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Most people aren't thinking to examine life in 5 to 7 year periods. They're like 20s, 30s, before kids, after kids. To me, like, I look back and there are pivotal times in my life that, that were these 5 to 7 year chunks where like I think differently, I look at the world differently. And as we're sitting here talking about this, maybe that is the case when we regenerate cells. Maybe you do, like, if you're paying attention, you start noticing things differently. Because like I said, I don't know what it is, but I felt different.
Yeah, I as well. And and it does speak to.
Maybe we're in a different timeline. Who knows?
That's a great wormhole to go down.
I went down the wormhole, and it's wild. It's wild, bad.
Yeah, but doesn't that speak to self-assessment, the need for it?
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are saying there's a need for it. Logically, we think there's a healthy need for it, but to others, they may see no need for it. I mean, I can't dictate how someone else is going to live their life.
Correct.
I just can't imagine like careening from wall to wall and just going through life and not examining bad decisions and good ones for that matter.
Bad decisions, or what I've also learned too, or observed, people get to a certain point and they think they figured it out. Yeah. Well, and then you have people around you telling you, yeah, you have all the answers.
Yeah, that arrogance is something.
Yeah, and I don't even think they think it's arrogance. I just think they've been told by so many people they're awesome and they have it all figured out. They start believing it, so they stop that self-examination. Because like if people tell me that stuff, I argue against it. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like I was like, no, I suck at this. Because I don't ever want to get to a point where I get comfortable with someone complimenting me. Because then that means, in my mind, I'm going to lose my ability to self-examine and to self-regulate.
All right, I'll apply the same principle here. We'll get into some semantics.
Okay.
Is it arrogance if they don't realize it?
If they don't realize that
they're being arrogant.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, it depends on how you define arrogance, right?
It goes back to that goofy Seinfeld phrase. It was hysterical, but you really think about it. We've talked about it. Is it a lie if you believe it?
I mean, that's a hard one, right? Because how do you? Because again, but define lie, right? Is it objective truth or subjective truth, right? So it comes down to that. If you're saying a lie is the opposite of objective truth, then your belief doesn't matter.
Correct.
If a lie is, a person's subjective belief of the truth or untruth, then I thought it was true. So it isn't a lie.
Which winds us all back to that self-assessment or lack thereof and not really understanding who the hell you are.
Yeah, I mean, that in my mind is when I just talk to people in general, right? Like if I talk to people and listen and observe, probably the biggest thing I see that cause people to struggle is that lack of self-reflection. Because I always think to myself, if you would just take a moment and reflect on what you just said or your thoughts on this situation or things you said over the past 6 months and actually like reflected on them and think to yourself, what did I say that for? People would learn a lot about themselves because people get so in the moment and say certain things and do certain things, not even realizing how it's coming out, how it looks, because they're not reflecting on what they're doing. Yeah. If you pull back and actually look, you'll see a whole different viewpoints.
Yeah. What is it about that word humble or humbling that we do not want to interact with? It just seems like we just don't want to do anything or view anything that will make us personally humbled. We avoid it. Why is that?
I think people view it as like a weakness, right? If I'm humble, that means I'm weak.
See, where did that come from?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Because I wasn't raised like that.
I think it's a lot of people operating out of a fear-based mentality, right?
Okay.
If I'm humble, that means someone's going to get the best of me and know my weak spots and kind of put me down, and then they're going to walk all over me because I've been humbled. I've been taken off the pedestal. I think a lot of people live in this fear-based mentality. And so to them, being humbled is like they were too vulnerable. They've been knocked off knocked off their rocker, and they're like, "Holy shit, I'm never doing that again." I do think it comes from fear quite a bit. I'm not gonna be completely wrong.
Well, yeah,
Because to be humble and to be humbled are two different things.
True.
Right. Like that's a whole different thing. Like,
and you can make the argument that you learn to be humble after you've been humbled.
Correct. Yes. You will definitely learn that. But some people are just humble by nature.
Yes.
Right. Other people have to be humbled to learn the importance of being humble and having humility.
Yes.
And it may take a couple times of that happening for them to realize it. Because some people, again, they drink their own Kool-Aid.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just
especially
like,
in the internet age, the social media age.
Yeah,
maybe like you said, maybe not so much more now. It's just more visible.
It's more visible because now you have a bigger audience, right? Like if someone's posting something on Facebook and people are liking it and commenting on it, well, they think it's validation to them that, hey, my opinion matters. What I'm saying matters. Like I start to matter, and they may not have any substance behind what they're saying. But they're not actually self-reflecting and saying, like, why are these people liking it? Why are these people commenting? Because sometimes you'll see stuff, and I'm just like, I don't think these people are doing that for the reason you think they're doing that. But it's people just don't think about it that way.
Yeah. What do you think is harder?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Okay.
Generally, do you think? Being humbled in the moment or being humbled in retrospect?
Being humbled in the moment or being humbled in retrospect?
Humbled in retrospect.
Oh, probably in the moment, I think. That's probably harder for people to deal with. Because it's
immediate.
Because it's immediate. It's immediate and you're in the moment, right? I think looking back, like once you're past it and you look back, it's easier to look back and be like, yeah, I was really wrong. That looking back, I've been humbled by that. But when you're in the moment, because it's like we get defensive. It's hard. Like we get defensive. I think when you look back on it and reflect on it and are humbled by the reflection itself, I think it's easier for a person to tolerate and swallow.
I agree with you. Now, I try to combat that, though.
Okay.
Because the reason I try to combat that, I consciously have tried to combat that because from reading journals for years, there's moments in there that just strike so deeply with embarrassment and stupidity and everything else. And the feeling that I get when I read that, I mean, I purposely avoid things to read because I don't want to revisit that.
Yeah.
But the feeling I have in there is so deep because generally it's not something that I can do anything about.
Yeah.
When I'm in a moment, at least, I can apologize. I can critically think. It could be embarrassing, but at least from a time standpoint, it might be correctable. Can't do much about what happened in those moments.
Yeah.
Reflect. That's how I try to weigh the two,
Yeah, it's a good point. I never thought about it that way. I think, look, they're both challenging, right? To be humble in the moment. Yeah, I mean, they are, but I think it's something people need to go through, especially in today's day and age, because anybody can put themselves out there and tell people they're a celebrity and try and build this following of people and, hold themselves out as this expert and whatever. Yeah, it's social currency. Right. So the ability or the action of being humbled, I think, is important these days. To just to keep people on their toes, know like it can all be taken away, and remember where you came from. Truly.
Okay, here's one for you. What do you feel would be a good way for someone to regularly humble themselves, to in an effort to stay humble?
Wow, that's a good question. I think honestly, like giving back to the less fortunate, because you start realizing, like, don't complain about shit.
That's a big one.
Like don't like.
That's a big one.
Anytime I see someone that is struggling, even like kids do it for me the most. Like I look at my life, I'm like, I should never complain about shit, and it is humbling because like one of the best quotes that I've heard, and a lot of people have said it, but it always brings me back to reality. We think about all these problems we have and all these things we want in life and all this stuff, and the person who's sick, all they want to be is healthy. And when you think about that, like we want all these things and we get frustrated we're not moving as fast, and we're frustrated things aren't working the way, but I wake up every day healthy. And like if I was not healthy, the only thing I would care about was being healthy. Nothing else would matter.
Yeah.
And that is kind of one of those things where I bring myself back to that quite a bit to say, if everything goes, like I still have my health. I get up out of bed every day. I can walk, I can move, I can function. My brain works, my body works. So end all be all, like I have what that sick person lying in bed would want. The only thing they would want. Money doesn't matter. The material possession, they don't matter. Having a business doesn't matter. Clients don't. It's truly the health of it. And that to me is a humbling thing to think through. Because we complain about a lot of shit in life.
Oh, man, you aren't kidding.
But when you think about it, you go to a hospital and see like an older person just laying there, they would give anything to be in our shoes, to have the time we have and the energy we have and the health we have. Yet we find shit to bitch about.
Constantly.
Yeah, and I get so mad at myself now when I do that, just because like the older you get, you start seeing the importance of it. Like time is finite. Like how many years do I got left?
That's
hopefully a ton, but
that's the only currency.
Correct. It is. It really is. So it is that's the thing that humbles me the most. Like thinking about that type of stuff. Truly.
Yeah, I'll share another story. So early 90s again. Some politics. Not too far from here. I don't know why, but I was a young kid. And there was a gentleman who was in business for himself, about 5 or 7 years older than me.
Okay.
And my life wasn't going where I wanted it to be, at the speed that I wanted it to be.
Okay.
But I looked at this guy who was 5 years older than me. He had his own practice. He I don't know if it's a law or accounting or whatever.
Okay.
Married, 2 young kids, big house, and all these clients, walked around with a level of importance. And I used to look at him. I go, wow, this guy's got it, man. And besides all that, nice guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Hard to poke a hole in the guy like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I leave and I move away, and I hear to find 4 or 5 years later, he had hit rock bottom, strung out on drugs, lost his practice, and was dead.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just like, it was unfathomable to me that the person that I knew when I moved away could be the person that was described to me during his last couple months, and how his whole life had been thrown into complete chaos and just terrible.
Yeah.
I remember saying to myself, oh my God, it's like here I am lusting after what this person has accomplished.
Yeah.
But it can be taken away at a moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even through self-destruction, it can be taken away.
Yeah, absolutely. We all bring our
He
own
robbed
problems.
himself of his life.
Yeah, like that's why I always say, like when you look at other people and envy what they have, there's this one young speaker. He talks about, like, he wrote a book about, I think it's called "What's in Your Backpack," and it's a great. And he says it, and I'll use it. Everybody's carrying around a backpack with their own shit in it. So when we look at someone's lives or someone's life, and we say, we want that. Do you want their backpack?
1,000,000%.
Do you want the backpack they're carrying? You don't know what's in it. So yeah, you can have that life, but you also have to take their backpack. And are you willing to trade your backpack for what could possibly be in theirs?
Yeah. And you just never know.
You don't.
You just don't know.
And that's why I don't want to judge anybody, because you never know. Like,
that's the point.
What is in their backpack? Correct.
And we're all capable of implosion. And I think if you lose, I like to tell younger people, I use the arena of sports because they like sports so much. You see the wealthy pro athletes and all that, and then hopefully a small percentage of them, but you see them 5, 7, 10 years later. A lot of them, not a lot of them, but a percentage of those will hit rock bottom in a bad way. Yeah, and it's right there for you to see. Yeah, you perceivably have everything that most of the public thinks wants. Yeah, you have it, and it can, whether it's by your own doing or not. Yeah. Usually it's our own doing.
Yeah, a lot of times it is. And again, because we carry these things with us, from childhood trauma to the way we grew up, to where we came from, to problems that has happened in our lives. That's why I always say, just be gracious with people. Like truly, like if we could just be kind to one another, like as a society, regardless of your viewpoints, regardless of what you think about certain things, politically charged things, or just any topic that creates division in this country, if we could all just agree to be kind and gracious with one another, this world would be completely different.
1,000,000%. And it's just incredibly good timing, because the one thing that I feel that I'm fortunate, I've been fortunate to be in this arena, which is the music arena, is that music generally has always been a very unifying thing.
Yeah.
And I've got so many friends that may think about life differently than I, but I'm not really even sure I know that for certain, because I don't care that much.
Right.
But man, I respect what they do, and I love that arena that we find that commonality in. It's a unifying thing.
Yeah, music is.
There's no question.
Music is truly, I think, the universal unifier. It really is when you think about it, because you can go to a concert, and everybody there, you have no idea what they believe in politically, religiously. Yeah, you're just all there to listen to an artist and have a good time.
Yeah.
And truly experience the music.
And the irony is, when that does get severed, that unity, it's usually the artist doing it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But they choose a side.
That's a good point.
It isn't the audience.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
That a shame?
You're absolutely right. And again, and to me, it's like, I know it sounds like an oversimplification, but just be kind to one another. Like, what makes it so hard to do?
I don't know.
Like, when you think, like, why is it so hard to just respect someone else's opinion? You don't have to agree with it, and just be kind to that person. The world would be such a better place.
Just lead with it and then see what happens. You know?
Yeah, I mean, leading with kindness is a good thing to do.
By default, just lead with that.
Yeah.
And if it isn't reciprocated, then okay, then an exit from the circumstance. But do it peacefully.
Yeah, I'd rather be a person that leads with kindness and doesn't get it reciprocated than be someone who doesn't lead with kindness.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, I mean, it's really that simple. But people, I don't know why they have such a hard time doing it.
I don't know.
This country is full of stuff.
Correctable. It's so correctable.
Yeah,
it's. I don't know. I still think we could do a show called The Good News. Some network could do it.
I'm sure we could.
And I think I mentioned this when I was a young person, when cable TV first came out. TBS or Ted Turner had a show called The Good News. It was a half an hour good news, feel good kind of.
Yeah.
Lasted one season. No one really would watch it. I guess it got canceled right away.
I don't understand.
It was a great concept, though.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, why do people like? I even try and curate my social media feeds to like just get stuff that's enjoyable.
I do the same, but it doesn't spit it like I want it to. I
just learned to avoid things that don't make sense, and I just watch the things that matter to me that bring me enjoyment.
Yeah, and it's something you can control for the most part.
Yeah,
but we tend to
we get indoctrinated.
I'm turning into an optimist. Like, I hold out hope. I hold out hope.
I do as well, because I think that I do feel a shift in the country happening. I do feel that
I do as well.
People are starting to understand that, like, hey, we're all kind of the same. We have differing opinions, but it's really the people at the top trying to divide us all.
There's no question.
Like, when you look at it, like if you talk to people on the streets, we're all kind of the same. We all want slightly different things, but the majority of us, we're just like, yeah, like you do your thing, I'll do mine. Let's just all enjoy life. But you have these people at the top trying to, sow division in this country. And it's worked up to this point. But I do feel like a lot of people have woken up and said, wait a minute. It doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this? And we're starting to see a shift, I think.
I think so too. And what's also important is that we can't. How do I say this? We shouldn't try to stamp out those that are not like us.
No, not at all.
Or even just the speech, the thought of it. I mean, you don't have one without the other.
Yeah.
It's that yin and yang.
Right. Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you wrote a book practically.
Yeah.
The tenets of that. You've got to embrace the light and the dark and
do.
understand both. Right?
Yeah, 100%. You have to.
That's the to me, that's the more sophisticated way of going through life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you're going to try and silence someone because they don't agree with you or have your opinion, you have a shitty opinion. Because all that means is you can't articulate an argument.
1,000,000%.
Like you can't. So your response is to just silence the person because you don't have a strong enough argument. Your argument should silence the person.
Right.
But if your argument can't, then you shouldn't resort to other things
or belligerence or whatever else. And
that's the sad part.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different time we're in, man.
It is. But always good discussion.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We'll do it again next week.
Yes, we will.
All right, partner.
See ya.
We'll see you.